It's a warm welcome to CSI Greenwich, part of the Major League team competition here this week at this fabulous venue on the Polo Grounds. Looking forward to what comes out from the sixth stage of Major League show jumping. Why is it important that it's stage 6? Because the transfer window has just closed for team changes. So quite a few new faces on the team and are ramping up again for the second half of the season, Hannah.
Some very exciting changes to the teams. We've got a few changes on all of the teams. The Trailblazers, the team who are leading the way, they bring on top 30 ranked rider Gregory Watherley. The Crusaders, they sit in the middle of the field and they're bringing forward European gold medalist Cian O'Connor. And then the Northern Lights make 4 team rider changes, one of those being, of course, Canadian Olympian Tiffany Foster.
Yeah, very exciting lineup there. And, of course, we've got a whole host of others that are coming in too. Team KPF were the winners of the last stage at the American Gold Cup. They're basically going to be the home team here in Greenwich as well. So pressure on them to grab another win and get themselves off the joint bottom of the table.
Yes, they'll be looking to capitalise on that success from leg 5, but they are tied for that bottom spot with 2 other teams. It's absolutely all to play for, and lots of these teams are hungry for a win. This is Major League. Welcome to leg 6 of Major League show jumping, hosted at CSI Greenwich, this stunning polo field playing host to today's competition. The first horse will be heading into the ring in just a few moments' time, but let's take a look at what happened in leg 5.
Leg 5, Traverse City of Major League show jumping, in the team battle there coming between the 2 Irishmen and the American. Daniel Coyle and the ride for the Roadrunners getting into the bronze medal position, but leaving for the gold and silver battle between the Trawley Trailblazers, with Dara Kenny getting over the line, but again, by the look on his face, he didn't think it was enough. She took full advantage of watching that round unfold for Alison Robitaille and Esther de Maugret to bring home the trophy for Team KPF for the first time this season. Well, a very warm welcome to Greenwich CSI, and it is the new stage of Major League show jumping as we come here to Greenwich Polo Club for the very first time as part of Major League jumping. Team competition here this afternoon, and looking forward to how this plays out. Leg 6 of the competition, as you've just heard, and it goes over the 3 rounds and down to the battle. The home nation team, as I mentioned, is going to be Team KPF, and well, will they get up the top of the table? We'll see, but those that can follow in the arena can also see how the teams are laid out, with Trelawney Trailblazers at the very, very top, still holding on to the number 1 spot by quite some way at the moment. So a good bit of ground the Trelawney Trailblazers have got over the rest of the field at the moment, but we're just over the halfway stage of the year, and it takes us all the way through to California. But today we're out on the beautiful grass here at the Polo Grounds, and we're going to take you through the field that do battle for today's competition. With 3 riders in each of the team, they go with the 3 riders in round 1, 2 riders in round 2, 1 rider in round 3. It's as simple as that, but we'll take you through as we go how that breaks down. The cut lines, how it goes into the final qualifying and the final stage as they battle for the medals as well, whether it's bronze, silver or gold. Great to be here for the very first time as part of this event here in Greenwich, and the order of go, the teams looking like this. They'll start off with the Crusaders and with the Eye Candy teams, currently second in the championship, going next out of the lineup. Roadrunners after that, currently 4th in the championship, will go 3rd. Team KPF with Ken Farrington, our host here this week as well, alongside Alison Robitaille and Natalie Dean. Spyco Spy, 6th in the championship, going number 5 in the order of the 8 teams in order that take place here today. And Team Helios, they will go 6th. Final 2 teams, we'll see Team 7 being the Show Plus Northern Lights. And finally, the championship leaders were drawn earlier on this week as the team to go last as well. So they get the prime spot going into this next stage of Major League Jumping 2. So looking forward to how they play out. Can they get a further extension of their lead in the championship as well? But we're going to take a little look at how those teams might fare, because we also talked to another of the riders, Connor Swale, in a moment's time to see what he thinks and how the teams might come together here. But it's strong right the way down the order. As I say, it's 3 riders to go in the first round. The last 3 teams, Team Helios, currently 3rd in the championship, and then taking us to the Northern Lights that have seen them on the podium several times this year for the team predominantly of the Canadian riders. And finally for Trelawney Trailblazers, Dara Kenny, Connor Swale and Niall Nassar making up the team for the Trailblazers to do battle here. Will they make it through to round 2? They have to be top 4 for that. And let's take a look. And coming up, we've got Connor Swale to take us through what it looks like for our teams here and what he thinks.
Well, Connor, the Trelawney Trailblazers have had a fantastic season so far this year. Leading the way, talk us through the strategy in terms of rider choices for today.
Yeah, we have a good lineup today. We have obviously myself is going first on Castorano. He's been fairly consistent this year, so we're going to continue with him. And then we have Dara Kenny on Chic Chic, which is obviously a great horse to have. And then Niall on El Conde, which also have been very good in previous teams. So, in paper, we have a nice, strong team today.
And we've got a lot of new riders on the teams now following that transfer window. Who are you particularly looking out for today?
Yeah, I did notice there's a lot of big changes actually. So obviously there are a lot of the other teams are gunning for the top spot as well. So I find it makes it very interesting because we've set a very high standard, and the other teams are trying to catch up, and they're strengthening up their teams greatly to try and do that. So second half's going to be interesting.
Who do you think's your biggest rivals?
Oh, today, honestly, again, Eye Candy are always trying to be strong. I'm not sure, but I know they're all trying to push us.
Best of luck.
Thank you. Thanks a million.
Very difficult to pick your way through because it's a strong group of riders through our teams. 8 teams here as part of Major League Jumping here this afternoon. Well, our course has been set, and it's set by one of the very best, by Alan Wade, who's built the World Cup finals. He's built through to the World Championships as well, and again returns here to Greenwich. This is actually the 3rd running of the international event here in Greenwich, but it's first time as a 5-star and moving up into the top ranks and welcoming the Major League riders here to this polo field. On this polo field is a beautiful course laid out by Alan Wade, and we're going to take a look at that track as well and see what he's got in store for those in round 1 as well. We've seen the individual riders taking this on, which gives us a little bit of an idea, but as for the teams, we start over the white vertical rather. Fence 2 is the Oxer down near the Rolex clock. Roll back there to fence 4, the Premier Equine fence, on a related distance up to the Team KPF vertical at 5. Little bit of bend in the line to 6A and B. Again, they can play with the distances here a little bit after this fence that you see there. That's the KPF vertical at fence 5. Just moving off to the right-hand side on the bend to the double at 6A and B. And again, dependent on how tight they take that after that one-stride double to the Cabana Coast fence at fence 7. Time to make up there. They can just squeeze an extra stride less down there if they wish. And then coming into 8A and B. And again, this is a little bit of a speed block there. They've got a vertical on the way in. Can't go in here too fast. And then down to a later distance to fence 9, the Aston Martin Skinny after that at 9. Turning back to the polo fence, and that is going to be our next at 10, coming again on a related distance up to the CSI Greenwich fence at 11, and again on a related distance, a little bit harder to get the pace going. After that, they can really get a run here to the Rolex double at 12A and B, and finally down to the Major League fence at the last 2 complete. That is what it looks like for those into the competition, and that is what it looks like. So let's take a look at what it is like for round 1, how it works. We have a little explainer of how the team competition comes together. Have a look at this. Major League Show Jumping, the team competition, round 1. How does it work?
8 teams, 3 rounds, and only 1 winner.
Scoring in round 1 is based on faults and time. Faults mean a fence down. That's 4 faults for that. And individual rounds also get a time attached to it as well. So a faults and time score for each individual, but it's not an individual competition.
We have 3 riders per team and all 3 scores count. The best total combined score for each team is what will determine the order from round 1, and the best 4 go through to round 2.
The key is stay above the cut line. It's as simple as that to get into round 2. 4 in, 4 out. It's as simple as that. Good luck. Well, that's how it works for the team competition. Round 1 featuring all 3 riders, and we're almost set to go. And as we prepare, ladies and gentlemen, may we ask you to stand for the national anthem. All set to go with the Major League team competition. 8 teams doing battles, 3 riders on the team, so it's a combined score in the first round. They have to be in the top 4 to go to round 2. And in round 2, it is 2 riders for each team, and in the third round, it is 1 rider for each team. So you'll see the first team coming out, and that is the Crusaders. Crusaders, number 5 in the championship so far, and a brilliant finish to be second in Vancouver, our opening leg in Canada.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to leg 6 of Major League show jumping. Crusaders come first today with Alessandra Volpi, Hallie Grimes and Callie Schott on the roster for them today. Some strong horses on their list as well, and they're 5th in the overall season standings on a score of 41 points. They've been in the top 4 twice already. They finished on the podium once, and no wins so far, but they are very much looking for a win. In fact, they haven't won a leg of Major League show jumping as a team since 2021, so no doubt they're very, very hungry for a good result here. And with their total score in mind of 41 points, they'll be looking to put some space between them and the teams at the bottom of the tree. So Alessandra Volpi comes in next. Gracia du Pachis is her ride. So Hallie was new to the teams for 2023. Excuse me, Alessandra Volpi was new to the teams from 2023, as was Hallie Grimes. But this is her 3rd appearance for the team. She jumped clear in Ottawa for the Crusaders. That was her debut with this very horse. She had a couple of fences down at Traverse City at our visit there for the American Gold Cup. But she's been jumping very well so far this season on the Major League circuit. Placed in the top 10 in the 5-star Grand Prix in Ottawa. And that's probably the environment that's most similar to what we have here today. It's a big grass ring. Again, this is a big grass ring. And so it's interesting that she's been selected here because she performed particularly well in Ottawa. And this is a similar sort of question. Tricky course, of course, designed by Alan Wade, and it's catching out Alessandra so far. 2 fences down, so she's working on the 8. And remember, with the 3 scores counting, there is no drop score. Every single score counts. So that means that it's a total team score so far for the Crusaders of 8. And what they've got to do is stay above the cut line. They need to be in the top 4 here in round 1 to get through to those jump-off rounds. Final fence there then for Alessandra Volpi. Sails down that final line very well. Now I'll take you through some of the striding between some of these fences as well, whereas we have these riders coming through. But gives the horse a pat. Looks fairly pleased with that. But yeah, a couple of unfortunate poles down. So it's 8 in total for the Crusaders, with 2 riders still to come. Alessandra Volpi then is making way for Hallie Grimes, another rider new to the Major League circuit. Crusaders have only made 1 rider change following that mid-season transfer window. Their new rider is Cian O'Connor, who of course is a very top-ranked rider in the world. European gold medalist as well for Ireland. Hallie Grimes, though, is continuing this run of young talent on the Crusaders squad. What an unfortunate start. Long way around this course with now the first 2 down. She just got a bit deep there into the second fence. Takes quite a good tight turn back to 3. This is a really interesting line here, though. She's holding well. And goes the 4 strides down to the KPF fence. Her ride here, Marguerite de Mariposa, getting a little strong in this ring. She's still looking for a clear for the Crusaders in this season, but generally she's just having 1 pole down in her performances for them. That's the 5 there. She's now taking some wider lines. I think she's quite conscious that she's had a few fences and trying to just stop Marguerite de Mariposa from getting too strong here. This is a horse that Hallie's had since only June of this year. It was a former ride of Olympic and European medalist Jerome Guerri. Comes home then also on the 8. 8 is the theme at the moment for the Crusaders. 8 for Alessandra Volpi, 8 for Hallie Grimes. It's 16 in total. And of course, we have to see how that sits in the context of this competition, because sometimes we have quite a lot of clears. Last time out in Traverse City, we only had the 1 team finishing on a clean sheet. And so it's all about putting it into context. It's all about working out how they sit in relation to the other teams and just getting into the top half. Callie Schott comes forward now with Garant. 5-star Grand Prix winning ride for her. And this is a horse that won the American Gold Cup in the past with Busy Madden. Well, Callie, very talented rider here, and this is a great partner for her. Garant has some great scope, really powerful, athletic horse. She's only jumped once on the team so far this season, but there jumped a double clip. She's got a bit more pace up here now. I think she knows that with a score of 16, that is going to be quite tricky for the team. But certainly a good clear for her would give them a better chance. Again, this combination performed well in Ottawa, both this year and last year. She placed in the top 5 in the 5-star Grand Prix in Ottawa in 2022. So again, this, on paper, would be a ring that would suit this combination. And really nicely down that final line as well for Callie Schott. Big pats for Garant, and rightly so. There goes the clear round music. Nothing to add at all for Callie. Team score, though, is 16 for the Crusaders. 16 is that first score on the board for us. Now, usually we make the teams do some sort of challenge to get themselves into the best possible place in terms of the order of go. This time it's just been drawn out of a hat. And so the Crusaders, unfortunately, have fallen foul of that and ended up first out. Because, of course, it really quite is of benefit to be able to go lower down in the order, because you then have chance to see how the course is riding. You have chance to see how the other teams are going, see what their strategy is, and see who you would need to beat as well. Eye Candy come next with a really great lineup here. Two stalwarts of the team in Amy Miller and Paul O'Shea, and Matt Sampson is the new addition for Team Eye Candy. Eye Candy actually make 3 rider changes. They swap out Jacqueline Steffens, Jessica Mendoza and Caroline Mawhinney from their earlier lineup earlier this year. They add Matt Sampson, and as well as Bliss Hears, who of course was really successful on Team Helios last year, and Ayoli Maitilinou, the young Greek rider who is in the world's top 100, and she's been a European medalist as well. So it'll be really interesting to see those in action, and it's a great opportunity to see Matt Sampson in action here with his experienced horse making his debut for Team Eye Candy. His ride is Equine America Ivanhoe. This is a full ride of Sam Walker, who was on the squad for Helios in the first half of the year. Obviously Canadian, very talented young rider. And also a former ride of Ellen Whittaker, who's been extremely successful British rider up the European and World Championship competitions. Now, though, this horse back in British hands. Matt Sampson, I'm sure, will be really keen to make his mark for Team Eye Candy. This is a big striding horse. He's just eating up the ground between these fences. And that's something that could really be a benefit here in this particular ring. Time allowed here today is 80 seconds. But I would think this horse won't find too much trouble with that, purely based on his ground cover. Matt Sampson then coming to the last. He's really going for that final fence. Gets the great stretch over the last that he was looking for. Comes home just on the 4. Just one pole down for Matt Sampson with Equine America Ivanhoe GPH. Strong performance so far in the context of the 4 riders that have gone. We've had 2 8 faulting rounds, a clear and a 4. So Eye Candy ideally could do with 2 more clears. Quite a big ask here in the context of this competition as it looks so far. But if anybody can do it, I'm sure it's these next 2 riders, Amy Miller and Paul O'Shea. They have always been extremely strong for Team Eye Candy. Amy is a rider who's been selected to represent Eye Candy in the gold medal matchup twice, and she's won both of them. And that's something that's interesting about this competition as well. Of course, all 3 riders jump round 1, 2 jump round 2, and 1 jumps round 3. But they have to select the best rider for each one. Just a very light touch there. She just didn't quite get the height. It's a fraction deep. Just getting a little close to the fence, which then makes it difficult for the horse to get as high as is needed. There again, she's just struggling to get the spring here. She's making quite a tight turn there. I think she'll now be conscious of the time with 2 fences down. Nice measured line down to the final fence. She looks a fraction disappointed with that, though. It's a score of 8. We have Eye Candy sitting on a score of 12. 12 has them 4 penalties ahead of the Crusaders. We really need a clear here from Paul O'Shea. But how likely is that to happen? Squirt Gun is his ride once again, and this is the horse that he's ridden on every team appearance for Eye Candy so far. Had a fantastic performance in Traverse City. That was in leg 5, jumped a double clear for the team. Had a pole down in each round in Ottawa. Clear Traverse City the first time out, and 1 down at Angelstone tournaments near Toronto. That gives him a clear round rate for the year so far of 50%. But he is very much a stalwart of this team, known as coach to the team. And if Eye Candy are to stay ahead of the Crusaders, they do need a clear here, or a fast 4 from Paul. But certainly with those really strong teams to come, I'm sure that a clear is what he's aiming for here. Really keeps the pace up well there, back to that Cabana Coast Doxer. Safely through the Fidelity double, just 1 stride in there. Ooh, and it's a really tricky line, that, because it really encourages them to stretch out and get a little bit long down to that next fence, the Aston Martin upright, which of course takes really careful jumping. You know, they've opened out down that line, and then an upright like that. Ah, Paul, it's been such careful riding. Just takes a tighter line into the Rolex double. And 1 pole falls down, sadly, for Paul O'Shea and Squirt Gun. It's a team total of 16, so neck and neck with the Crusaders in terms of the actual score. However, they're more than 6 seconds faster. So Eye Candy lead the way out of the 2 teams that we have had so far. The Crusaders sit in 2nd place, but 2 teams finishing on a score of 16. And that's what can be so unique about this format. You know, sometimes we have very low faulting scores, sometimes we have quite high faulting. It's very much all depends on the day, and all depends on the context of the performances of these teams. Pressure's actually on at the moment as well, because this is of course leg 6. We come here fresh from that mid-season transfer window. That transfer window where they could add riders and remove riders as well, swapping in new talent to give them a fresh injection for the second half of the year. The Roadrunners come next. They're in 4th place in the season standings. 46 points on the board for them. They're 6 points behind 3rd placed Helios. And they are 5 ahead of the Crusaders, who lie in 5th. So they're middle of the road, and some good results here this week would really see them climb the rankings. Caitlin Campbell comes first with Castlefield Cornelius. So Caitlin Campbell here. This is the first time that we have seen her ride Castlefield Cornelius. So Caitlin rode in Vancouver for the team with Diaco Blue. secured 4th place for the Roadrunners. This is a new ride for her, one that she's only had since July of this year. It's a previous ride of Philip Ruping, top German rider. So far this year, she's only jumped this horse in Akala and at Traverse City. Just 4 FEI classes together. Roadrunners have been in the top 4 3 times, and 2 podiums and 1 win so far this year. That came in Ottawa. Going really well here though, and really nicely down to the final fence. Her time is 81.19, and that's going to give her 2 time penalties, with that time allowed being 80 seconds. Of course, remember, we pick up 1 penalty for every second started over the time allowed, so it's 1 for the 81 and then also another 1 for the 0.19 of a second. 2 is a pretty good score though, and I think now as this competition starts to play out, we might see more riders just going for a little bit more of a steady approach, and then potentially picking up some time penalties but keeping the fences up. Now the Roadrunners have had a chance to see those first 2 teams go, and they know that 16 is a score that they need to beat. Kathleen Driscoll is a new rider on the Roadrunners squad. She swapped out for Zoom Gallagher. Kathleen was the leading rider at Traverse City Horse Shows. She was awarded that fantastic prize at our 5th leg for the American Gold Cup, so really consistent rider. She's a new to Major League Show Jumping, and she makes her debut for the teams here today with Flotilla. This horse has been so consistent for her over the summer months. She's been placed in the top 4 in 7 out of 10 classes that she jumped at Traverse City, including 4 wins. One of those wins being the 5-star winning round at the Gold Cup week. Conditions are changing slightly here in Greenwich. The rain has just started to come down. Oh, Kathleen. Fantastic opportunity this week to see these new riders in action and really see them make their mark. She's really pulling back there. It really is a ring that's encouraging the horses to get strung out and get a bit strong. But she managed that extremely well. She really used her body. She really managed to get the horse collected and back in time for the Aston Martin upright fence. Now a push for that Oxer. And just the final line here. Once again, she's taking quite a tight line to this Rolex double. Safety through 12A and B. Great to the last as well. Well, the Roadrunners are absolutely on fire, and look at that time as well. 72.24 is extremely quick. That is the fastest round we've had so far. So our second clear of the competition goes to Kathleen Driscoll, really making her mark for the teams here today. On her debut, I'm sure she'll be absolutely thrilled with that. Well, Caitlin Campbell and Kathleen Driscoll have absolutely pulled it out of the bag here already for the Roadrunners, and they've saved their most experienced competitor until last. McLean Ward needs hardly any introduction and rides First Lady here this afternoon. He has a 100% clear round rate so far for the team. He jumped in Ottawa and at Traverse City last time around for leg 5, both of those appearances being with First Lady, and jumped a double clear in both of those competitions. McLean's ranked number 8 in the world rankings. Fantastic to have so many top ranked riders in this competition. We have a lot of the world's top 30 here. Seven, in fact, of those world's top 20. One pole down, though, for McLean Ward. As you see there, that's his score in the white, and the team score is the green there, and their cumulative time as well. 6 would be a strong score here First Lady just twisting the back end a little bit over the Rolex double. Strong shot to the last. Safely inside the time allowed as well, very safely in fact, nearly 4 seconds. The Claymore just drops the 1 pole, and it's going to give the Roadrunners a score of 6. They're leading the way so far. Eye Candy and Crusaders, I have no doubt, will be watching this competition intently. Sure. They tried to stay above the cut line, but I think it could be quite a big ask. Absolutely stunning field here. This is the Greenwich Polo Club, which was first inaugurated in 1981 as a really top-level polo venue. This is the 3rd year that show jumping has taken place at this venue, and this is the first time that 5-star show jumping has been brought to this venue. Team KPF come in next. They've had a tricky year so far. They're in joint 6th place. That's at the bottom of the table with 38 points, but they are now tied with the Sparco Spies and the Show Plus Northern Lights. They've only been in the top 4 once, and that's from their one win. Win coming in Traverse City last time out. Brought in 2 new riders, so they swapped out Audrey Schultz and Thomas Joffre, and they bring in Carlos Hank Guerrero and Eduardo Jimenez. We'll be looking forward to seeing those riders as the season progresses. Today, though, we have Alison Robitaille, Kent Farrington and Natalie Dean on the start list. Alison Robitaille will come first with Oakingham Lyra. She's new to the team for this year, but staying on for the second half. She's rode both Esther du Maugret and Oakingham Lyra in our team competition so far. She actually rode the team's only clear in Toronto with this very horse, with Oakingham Lyra. She jumped an amazing set of rounds in Traverse City, clear in round 1 and in the gold medal matchup, where she beat Dara Kenny of the Trailblazers into 2nd place by 0.06 of a second. Rain is not putting this combination off so far. Six down to the Aston Martin upright. We're seeing a lot of people taking that collected approach down that line. Does take careful riding. And Alan Wade set a lot of different challenges here. It's actually quite a test of stamina. This is quite a technical line down at the back end of the course. Some tight rollbacks and some moments that really require accuracy as well. Alison Robitaille comes home with another clear round. Another clear for Oakingham Lyra as well in the team competition. 100% rate for this combination so far for Team KPF. And it will be really interesting if they get through to those medal matchups, who they will choose. Because the anchorman of this team comes next. This is Kent Farrington, who has selected from his quite incredible string of horses Landon for today. This is the first time he's ridden Landon on the team competition. Landon is about 50% of the time clear over fences of this height, but has done some pretty outstanding competitions. Kent's also having an extremely consistent year on the Major League circuit. He's been in the top 10 in 4 out of our 5 Major League show jumping 5-star Grand Prix so far. More than any other rider. Sits him in 3rd place in the individual standings. But the task at hand is, of course, Team KPF. Kent's world number 7 at the moment, always there at the top of the world rankings. His turns are just so efficient. Takes these tight lines, doesn't waste a second. He's not far away for the time. 2 seconds exactly over the time allowed for Kent Farrington. That is not something you often see from this man. But taking the steadier approach, just making sure, just leaving nothing to chance with Landon. So we have another rider finishing on a score of 2. Kent Farrington is that rider. Natalie Dean will be the final person to pilot this course. .com Dorthuy is her mount. So right now, if she jumps clear, she will take Team KPF to the top of the rankings. And that is, I'm sure, what she has her sights set on. Natalie sits 76th in the world rankings. She made her first start for Team KPF in Toronto. And she also rode on the team in Ottawa and Traverse City. Just jumped the 1 clear round so far, but that was with this horse. .com. .com Dorthuy getting a little bit sticky over these fences, just not quite getting the height, taking a lot of time in the air. She's still aiming to take those tight lines. She still has an eye on the clock. She's pretty quick here. Just have this final line to come, and she's already only on 60 seconds. She's got 20 seconds to get home. Just picked the pace up there, though. And so down comes the... Oh, Natalie! Hang on. Ooh, well sat there for Natalie Dean. .com Dorthuy just got such height over that final fence. She's having a little bit of a laugh to herself there. My goodness me. Well, that would have been quite something. Natalie Dean has an enormous jump over the final fence, but keeps it up. Just 1 pole down in round 1 for her. She gives the team a total score of 6. Crucially, though, Team KPF are 15 hundredths of a second slower than the Roadrunners. That would be agonising if that makes a difference to them in terms of getting above the cut line. Great performance, though. Team KPF very much capitalising on their win at leg 5. Spyco Spies are the next team into the ring. Derek Herons, Ashley Vogel and Shane Sweetnam on their roster. 2 for Ireland and 1 for the USA. Fantastic for these riders to have the opportunity to ride on a team together, because this is such a unique format, meaning that riders from all over the world get to compete on a team together. Derek Herons is first up for Spyco Spies. Spyco only make 1 change following that transfer window. They take out Margie Engel and they bring in Cassio Ravetti. Again, I'm sure we'll be seeing him later on in the season. Derek Herons, new to the team circuit for 2023, made his debut in Traverse City with Lucino and jumped clear. So this is a second appearance. No doubt looking for a second clear. Spyco Spies, though, they haven't had the easiest of seasons. Last year, they were very much always the bridesmaid. They were getting a lot of second places, not really doing anything wrong, but just not quite getting the wins. This year, they've been less consistent. They've only been in the top 4 once, and so that's why they're at the bottom of the season standings. Top 4 result coming in Toronto. Had 3 5th places and a 7th. No doubt you're looking to utilise some more fresh talent to get them a little bit further up the rankings. Derek Herons, he's a bit steadier than the likes of Natalie Dean. Comes now to the final fence. Lucino making his mark. Safely under the time allowed. It's 78.09. Not the fastest, but Derek Herrins gets it done. It's a slow, steady approach. Not too slow, though. No time penalty. Just 1 pole down per round at Traverse City, helping the team to a 2nd place. Jump clear at Traverse City last time out as well with this horse. Had a few rounds with DSP Callas as well, those coming in Toronto and Ottawa. Now the Aston Martin upright is something that takes very careful jumping, and it's something that's caused a problem for Roberto Teran. Team Helios on 4 already. If they'd stay above the Spy Coast Spies, every other fence for every other rider needs to stay up. Comes home on the 4, 77.81. He's good on the clock as well. Ashley Bond, team manager for Helios and a real star of the squad, and this horse is a star of the squad as well. Star of her string, it's Ashley Bond with Donatello 141. If you were watching our last leg in Traverse City, this lady had an absolutely unbelievable performance with this horse in the American Gold Cup. She jumped clear and jumped the most unbelievably fast round in the jump off, and she came out of the ring and said, if Carl beats me, he beats me. He did beat her into 2nd place, but it looked almost unbeatable. It was so quick. Incredible combination. This is the 2nd time that she's ridden Donatello, or Donny as he's known, on the team competition. Jumped at Traverse City, just a 1 pole down. Ashley rides for Israel, and she's ranked 44th in the world rankings at the moment. She's really sitting down and kind of driving around this course, really giving the horse the confidence. A very strong ride, and it's quick as well. Comes home, keeping all the fences up, and a time of 75.1.
Very good, very good.
Nothing to add for Ashley Bond. Keeps up this fantastic record with this horse. Just the horse of a lifetime for her. Fantastically done. Team Helios are looking strong. Our 2 strongest teams, or 2 of our strongest teams from 2022. Spy Coast and Helios looking good already. Mark Blumen comes forward as a final rider for Team Helios. In that mid-season transfer window, they dropped young talent Sam Walker, and they bring in Mark Blumen of Colombia. He rides Noortje van der Windheuvel, and he helped the team to several of their wins in 2022. Now returns to the squad for the 2nd half of the year. This is a really nice little athletically built horse. Ah, what a pity. Haven't seen that double causing too many problems, but you can see him getting strong. So it's 8, and already that sees Helios in 4th. Oh, he's got a big shot there. Really using his arms, using every part of his body to really get Noortje up and over the fences. Good down the final line. 5 seconds inside the time allowed as well. So 8 for Team Helios. They are in the top 4, but only just. They go into 4th place, and that's where it all came unstuck. Oh, Mark Blumen. Fidelity double coming down at Part A. So 8 is the score for Team Helios. But as you can see, their time was very good. They're the 3rd fastest team time that we've had so far. It's all over for Eye Candy. That's a shock. That's a really strong lineup. And Team Eye Candy really wanted another top 4 finish. But they sit in 5th place now. And it's home time for Matt Sampson, Amy Miller and Paul O'Shea. The Show Plus Northern Lights come in next. They're the penultimate team into this first round. Sean Jobin, Cara Chad and Tiffany Foster. Great to see her in action as her first appearance for the team. The Northern Lights have made more changes than any other team following the transfer window. They bring in 4 new riders. So those 4 riders are Tiffany Foster, Eric Crowett, Juan Ortiz and Cara Chad, and they replace Ali Ramsey, Nikki Walker, Alexis Sokolov and Lexi Ray. Sean Jobin has been on the team many, many times. Last year, he jumped at more legs of Major League show jumping than any other rider in the team competition. 9. And he's been on the team every time in the last 2 years that they finished on the podium. 75% of the time clear this year so far. And he chooses Coquelicot Van Het Hoviand Z today. We've seen him with this horse in many of our competitions, but primarily in the individual classes. He's been fielding Darius for the team. Coquelicot, though, is the ride the first time for the teams today. Show Plus Northern Lights have been in the top 4 twice on the podium. Both of those being 3rd place finishers, one in Traverse City and one in Toronto. This is looking really good though. It's lovely to see Sean getting such a good ride here, especially in some less than easy conditions, and you know, as a rider who's really put so much time into the Show Plus Northern Lights, it's great to see him getting a good round. He's just going to pick up 1 time penalty, quite wisely just taking a little bit of a steadier approach around some of those turns, just being a little bit careful. Keeps the fences up though and just adds 1 to the team tally so far. Cara Chad is one of the new riders for the team, so it's great to see 2 new riders in the team competition for the Show Plus Northern Lights. I think it's interesting as well that they have swapped out more than half of their squad for new riders, and I think that's really indicative of the fact that in terms of points they're in joint 6th, they're at the bottom of the tree, but they have actually been quite consistent. They've had 2 3rd places, 2 6th places, unfortunate 8th in Traverse City, but they've obviously got a strategy to bring in some new talent for the second half and to really try to push themselves up, because in terms of scores in the season standings, they're quite tightly packed. There's a bit more of a gap to the likes of the Trelawney Trailblazers, and then a bit of a gap to Eye Candy and Helios in 2nd and 3rd. But certainly those 4th to 8th teams is quite tight, so fresh injection of talent is intended to get them up the ranks. Going well here so far for Cara with Igor GPH. This year so far, she's just been campaigning this horse mainly in Canada, alternating between the Thunderbird Show Park in Vancouver and Spruce Meadows. This horse is relatively inexperienced over fences above 1 metre 50. Only had 3 rounds at 160. However, all of those are clear, so you can see that they're really building a fantastic partnership and getting the miles on the clock and getting more and more confident at the top level. It's a pole down in the final line. Part A of the Rolex double comes down for Cara Chad. Just a hair inside the time allowed as well. There we see the pole come down. Just gets a little bit close to the fence. And she puts the Show Plus Northern Lights on 5. So, Tiffany Foster, can she make her mark in sensational style? She had that amazing win in the 5-star Grand Prix in our first leg this year, that being at Thunderbird Show Park in Vancouver. A home win for her, very emotional win. And so it's lovely to see her on this team that always have a Canadian feel, the Northern Lights. If she can keep a clean sheet, Northern Lights will go into second place. 1 pole down and they're below the cut line. That's how close this is. Tiffany Foster has to jump clear if the Northern Lights are to go into the top 4. Electrique is her ride. This is a horse that she's been riding since March of this year. It's a former ride of Kent Farrington, and earlier in its career by Jana Frederica Meyer-Zimmermann, who's a German rider who's a really brilliant developer of young horses. But Tiffany has really clicked with this horse. She's won 3 classes with Electrique already, including a 3-star Grand Prix at Thunderbird. That was in August of this year. Steadily down to the Fidelity double. Be careful through that Aston Martin fence. I think she could find this a little costly for time. In some of our quicker rounds, we've had the 60-second mark coming as they head towards the Rolex double, but a fence is down. Fence has gone down for Tiffany Foster. It's all over. Show Plus Northern Lights will not be in the top 4. Ah, what a shame. Oh, and the last goes as well. Well, it's not the easiest start for the Show Plus Northern Lights in this competition. 2 fences down for Tiffany Foster, and every score counts. It's a total of 13 for the Show Plus Northern Lights, and it's all over. They're in 5th place. Eye Candy drop into 6th. The Crusaders drop into 7th. Spyco Spies retain the lead. The Roadrunners are in the top 4. Team KPF are in the top 4. Team Helios are in the top 4, and only one team can now shake things up. It's the Trelawney Trailblazers. So, Team Helios will be biting their nails right now, I'm sure. Spyco Spies, the Roadrunners, and Team KPF, they're all safe. They are all definitely through to round 2. The Trelawney Trailblazers are a team that many people have had an eye on in this year's series. Five of their squad are ranked in the world's top 30. They swapped out Kyle King and brought in Gregory Watley. He's ranked 30th in the world. And today they field Dara Kenny, ranked number 18, as well as Connor Swale, he's number 15, and Niall Nessar, he's 57th in the world rankings. Dara Kenny, though, is the pathfinder for our final team, the Trailblazers, with Chic Chic. An experienced combination. He won the 5-star Grand Prix qualifier in Traverse City with Chic Chic. And he's at a 67% clear rate for the team this year, 75% last year. But it was really quite unfortunate in Traverse City for Dara. He lost that gold medal jump off to Alison Robitaille by just 0.06 of a second. Not even the blink of an eye. Chic Chic's a horse that he's been riding for some time now. Jumped 4 clears for the team with this horse last season. But this horse was successful in the 2-star competitions, winning 2-star Grand Prix, and very easily stepped up to the top level. good for time. Connor Swale then is the next rider into the ring. A rather eye-catching waterproof jacket here. Castorano is his ride. He's the 15th ranked rider in the world. And he has a 100% clear round rate for the Trailblazers this season. He's ridden a couple of different horses on the squad this year. FEI 160, Vital Chance and Castorano. He won the gold medal jump off in Traverse City, our first trip there with this horse. Jumped double clear in Toronto with this ride, and double clear at Traverse City for our last leg as well. So extremely consistent. And as we heard from him speaking earlier, you know, this is a horse that's adaptable to all different situations, all different rings, and as we see so far here, all different conditions as well. 10 out of 10 clear so far. Oh, Connor Swale just takes the tight line into the Rolex double, and that's something that's catching out quite a few riders. Good for time, 76.89. He's a little fraction faster than Dara Kenny, but he has dropped one pole. They're neck and neck now with the Spy Coast Spies. Team Helios take another breath as Niall Nassar comes in for the Trelawney Trailblazers. He's the last rider for the team. He's the last rider of this competition. El Conde is his mount. And Niall jumped double clear and clinched the gold for the Trailblazers in Toronto. So, if he has a pole down, he needs to be pretty quick. Any more than that, and they'd be outside the top four, and that's not at all what they want. If he has a pole down, he needs to be faster than 73.4. This is looking quite quick. It's either that, or he needs to jump clear to push Team Helios out of the top four. El Conde really getting a good bit of height over the Cabana Coast Oxer. And this combination are just so together. They're really helping each other out. Great riding from Niall down that line. Just this last line, he's very good on the clock. Let's just take it steady, Niall. We don't need to rush here. We just need the fences up and you're going through. Oh, brilliantly done. This is a team at the top of their game. The Trelawney Trailblazers are just so strong, and they will be going through to round two. They are the second best team. They'll be going second last in round two. Team KPF will go first, the Roadrunners will go second, and then they'll be followed by the Trailblazers and then the Spy Coast Spies in their bid to get through to the medal matchups. But it's all over for Team Helios, it's over for the Show Plus Northern Lights, it's over for Eye Candy, and it's over for the Crusaders. Hard lines for those teams. Some time penalties coming into play. Some time penalties picked up in 4 of our teams, but here's the results. Those are your top four. The top four teams who will go through to round two, so the Spyco Spies, the Trailblazers, the Roadrunners, and Team KPF, the home team here in Greenwich. Team Helios, last year's season champions, are out. The Northern Lights are out. Eye Candy are out. They're second in the season standings at the moment, but they are not going through. The Crusaders, first team in this afternoon's competition, they're out as well. So 4 teams are now going to battle it out. It's all going to be about speed as those 4 go in reverse order of these placings in round 2, trying to get themselves into the best possible places for those medal matchups. And it's all about strategy. It's all about which riders they feel will get them into the gold medal matchup, and then who will be best going head to head in round 3. This is a result that really could shake things up in the season standings as well. Team KPF are down at the bottom of the tree at the moment, but they are tied with the Show Plus Northern Lights and with the Spyco Spies. So those 2 will gain considerably more points than the Northern Lights, and this is a result that could see the Northern Lights remain at the bottom. Helios also are going to be needing some more points, but we'll come back in just a moment's time.
Matt, welcome to the league. How do you find your first experience?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Great to be part of it. On a great team, and really lucky to be part of these shows. You know, I've watched them a lot over the pond, so to come over and start doing this is it's great. Really looking forward to it.
How was your first round out there? Because unlucky rail it looked like.
Yeah, I just had the second last fence going into the double. I thought he jumped really well. Just one of those things. I maybe ran a little bit deep, but yeah, I thought he jumped well. So hopefully we'll get through to the next round and we can have another go at it.
Alessandra, a bit of an unlucky start for the team there. How did you find it?
I thought the course was good. I think the weather today is a bit not the best for jumping on grass, but the course is nice and horses are not jumping it so badly. Personally, I'm trying a new bit. It's my first class with it, so I knew it was a bit risky, but you have to do it. And anyways, I think not a good day for our team, but we can always come back another week and fight again.
Kathleen, congratulations. Not a bad way to make a debut.
Thank you very much. It's always a little nerve-wracking when you're joining a team, especially a team that's had a good couple weeks, in the past year. So I was glad I was able to pull my weight and give them a clear score.
You did more than pull your weight. Best score in the team so far. How was the course out there?
The course is fabulous. My horse today, Flotilla, absolutely loves jumping on grass. She was jumping fantastic. The course rode just about how I planned it, so all good.
So far, so good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And is the leading provider of arena America, featuring to fit any budget. Cetus Events, like Major League Equestrian, is the company to rely on owners, trainers, and facility managers. It supports the of their equine athletes. Premiers this too. Call us at 800-611 or look us up at premierequestrian.com.
It was a really exciting win and very so cool to be part of the team. It's really fun to have the camaraderie and the planning and the strategy, and obviously when you go in the ring, it's just like any other Grand Prix or any class. You're just going in to do your best, and luckily you can add the scores together. Natalie and Kent did a great job getting me in that position to be able to ride for gold and silver versus third and fourth. So it was also great teamwork. Looking back at the times from all of the jump-off rounds, I really wasn't one of the fastest jump-off rounds. So obviously with that format, it was great advantage to get to watch Dara go and see what numbers he did, and then I knew where that I didn't have to risk it all doing 7 down the last line. Well, Kent helps me with all of my horses. I keep my horses with him and train with him for the past 2 years now. So when we're at the same shows, we often have conversations right before I go in the ring about strategy and plan. and he's always got great advice, and I was able to follow it well this time. We have not had the best luck in the first few runs, and nothing terrible, just it hasn't all come together. And even in Traverse City, I thought we were done for the day when we were sitting on 8 faults and we were already in 4th position after the 4 teams went. We were packing up our things, and then luck just turned our way. It's always nice to come off of a win. That always, I think, gives confidence. And but this is a very different venue, and I'm riding a different horse, and so mostly we're just going to go in and try and do our best and see where it goes. I'm really excited. I'm riding Oakingham Lyra. She's been on the team, I think, once this time or this year. So she loves the grass, and looking forward to getting out there.
Well, we're just taking a short break in proceedings now. As you can see, the ring is just being levelled and rolled, ready for our next round. But with the conditions in mind here in Greenwich, we're going to have a slight change in the format for today's competition. So rather than have 3 rounds, we're going to just have 2 rounds of competition today. So rather than having 2 riders from each team coming forward for round 2, we'll be bringing just 1 rider per team from those top 4 forward, and we'll rank those 4 to get our final placings. So that'll be Team KPF heading in first. They'll be followed by the Roadrunners and then the Trailblazers and then the Spy Coast Spies. So one team going after the other, and it's going to be a 4-way jump-off, 4 ways to determine the order of those top 4 ranked teams. We already have the 5th to 8th ranked teams, of course. Team Helios in 5th, the Northern Lights in 6th, Eye Candy in 7th, and the Crusaders in 8th. And I'll confirm the riders coming forward for each team with you as soon as we have those. The teams are busily making their choices, selecting the best possible riders and horses for these conditions and for this arena. Just making sure that the riders are not jumping too much in the quite tricky conditions that we've had here in Greenwich so far today. It's been quite rainy. Just making sure that the ground doesn't get too wet. And so just making sure that we also just give the teams a chance to go head to head and get those placings and those valuable points as well. We'll be taking a short break then, and we'll be back with you for that final round, our second and final round now in today's competition, in around about 10 minutes' time.
I have decided to abbreviate the competition, but it's going to leave it very exciting still as well, because we're going Table C, which means speed, and we're going to bring forward just one rider from each of the teams, so essentially jumping on to what would have been round 3 in a major way. So it is going to be 4 riders coming forward, 1 for each team. Table C competition, what does that mean? Well, it means if they have a fence down, we add seconds to their time. 3 seconds are added to their score. So basically, they can go for this, they can go as quick as they can, and they're actually going against all 4 of the other teams overall. So there are 4 teams going, and that'll be a little bit different. So let me run down the teams. They go in reverse order of what they qualified in. So the best in qualifying was the Spico Spies, so they will go last. So we'll start off with Team KPF and Natalie Dean. She will go first, and over a shortened course, which I'll explain to you in just a moment. And from there to the Roadrunners. The Roadrunners, winners in Ottawa just a few weeks ago in Canada. And they're going to send out Kathleen Driscoll and Flotilla. She's a real flyer of a rider and has been winning classes by the handful in Michigan this season. And from there we go to the current championship leaders, the Trelawney Trailblazers, with Niall Nasser and El Conde. Well-proven combination. In fact, both horse and rider have won here at Greenwich before now. Different rider on the horse at that time. Niall Nasser was winning the Grand Prix. Now there is a partnership, and now they're coming in to try and bring it home for the Trelawney Trailblazers. But last out, and they haven't won yet this season. They've gone close, the Spico Spies. Shane Sweetenham out the blue SCF, and Shane, another of the riders in the world's top 20, with a superb 9-year-old out of the blue for the Spy Coast Farm. So they'll go over the shortened course, Table C for this, and 1 round. Basically, our fastest of the group will be the winner. It's really simple. 1, 2 and 3 will be those going for the medals, because the second will get the silver, third will get the bronze, and hopefully you're not the team left in 4th place, and we'll be heading to the podium after that for the presentations. So a really good lineup here of strong depth and speed, as we will see. Natalie Dean start us off with .com. It's going to be Kathleen Driscoll. It's going to be Niall Nasser, and finally Shane Sweetenham over the course, designed by Alan Wade here. Now, he and his team have been out there working hard and fantastic job to get in the best ground here. This wonderful polo field here that is absolutely been in pristine condition, but as I say, with it being very wet, we're deciding just to abbreviate that and do the best for everybody in the competition. So we're going to go straight into the heat of battle. We're going to put the rain behind us. Hopefully it's stopped now, and get into the heat of battle. Let's take a look at the course for that second round, designed by Alan Wade. And so it starts off with 2 additional fences on the course, 14 and 15 looping rounds in front of the grandstand here. Then from there it is to fence 5, the Team KPF vertical, and then to 6A and B to the double after that. And from there it is to 7. We're going to the Cabana Coast fence to 8A and B. Well, just 8A on this occasion with the Fidelity fence. And then to 12A. So the second part has been removed onto that Rolex double. And finally fence 13 to complete the course. First rider is coming out on course, and looks like we're all set to go as we take you through the final stages of the course for this event. Rolex fence as the vertical, and finally, as you can see right from the animation there in front of the grandstands, down to the Major League fence to complete. First up, and here we go with the first of 4 into the...
Well, quite a different proposition for us here in this competition. So a different format is what we have here today, because we have some very tricky conditions. Quite a lot of rain fell, of course, in round 1. So what we're going to have is 1 rider per team. They are going to go in reverse order of their placings from round 1, and that means that for Team KPF, Natalie Dean will come first. We've just had a look at the course. couple of places where they can take some tight lines, a couple of places where they need to have a bit of a gallop. We've got the beat element of the final double combination that they'll tackle here taken out. That gives them more of a gallop down. Natalie Dean gets a good turn back there. Again, she's tight here back to the KPF upright. A and B. As these four riders go head to head. Cabana Coast Oxer, she gets a big shot there. And there you have, that's just the Fidelity upright now. No, not a double. And one there as well. It's a big gallop then down to the last as Natalie Dean and .com Dwarf 3 for Team KPF come home in a time of 44.09. Nothing to add for her. Of course, if a fence falls down, we add 3 seconds, but nothing to add for Natalie. 44.09 is the time that she's laid down. That's the time to beat. Really different question here now. It's all about speed. We don't need to go for the strategy of which 2 riders going round 2, which one goes in round 3. We've just got 1 rider per team battling it out here. Kathleen Driscoll is having quite the day. It's her debut for the team. It's her debut on the Major League show jumping circuit. And she's been selected to ride in this jump off, this 4-way jump off. So Kathleen Driscoll with Flotilla. She is a rider who can go very, very quickly indeed. Just settles Flotilla in the ring. She needs speed, but she just needs a little bit of calm to kick things off. 2 new fences, 14 and 15, to kick things off. Kathleen, of course, is the representative for the Roadrunners, and the time to beat is 44.09. Foot speed is faster. Good through the double. She's keeping some really nice tight lines. Ooh, a little bit slower in the air there, though, and that's why she's really pushing forward. 2 fences to go. I think this is going to be quite an ask to beat 44.09. Coming down to the last, she's not too far away. Yeah, not far at all. She might well get there. Oh, 43.78, and it's a fantastic round for Kathleen Driscoll, as she gets a double clear in her first appearance for the Roadrunners. 43.78, she takes the lead. Well, the Roadrunners have had 1 win so far this season. KPF have had 1 win so far this season. And we've got the Trailblazers and Spy Coast Spies. Of course, the Trailblazers have had 2 wins, and they are the team that will come in next. So the Spy Coast Spies are, in fact, now coming in to the... No, in fact, it is indeed Niall Nassar, who was on our list. So this is not Shane Sweetnam. This is Niall Nassar. So the Trailblazers have selected Niall Nassar and El Conde to represent them. This is a really fast combination. Niall won the gold medal jump off in Toronto with El Conde. El Conde just having a little bit of fun between these fences. Nice to see, but we don't need to waste any time here. Oh, he's very quick up to that Cabana Coast dock, so that's the fastest we've seen there yet. 43.78, the time to beat. Oh, El Conde just really kicks out with the back legs. Exuberant style. One left to go. 43.78 to beat. It's tight. It's very tight. Oh, 44.28. Oh, I was not expecting that. Niall Nassar. Oh, he's in third. He's in third place. That is not what we would have expected from the Trailblazers. 44.28. He was very quick back to the Cabana Coast Oxer, but I think in the early parts of the course he was just playing a little bit safe, just taking a little bit more time. Having said that, half a second separates the Roadrunners from the Trailblazers. Roadrunners Kathleen Driscoll has secured at least second. That's the worst position that she can have secured for the Roadrunners. And this could shake things up in the standings, as Shane Sweetnam is the final rider heading into the ring. Spyco Spies have never finished on the podium this season, and they really need to turn things around. Shane Sweetnam is the anchorman of this team, the manager of the team, and he's been selected to represent them. He's the final rider to go, and he has a time to beat of 43.78. He's looking for the first podium finish for the team, the first win, and in fact the first win in 2 years. Would be pretty historic for this team. Oh, but a fence down. He'll add 3, and you just see the time tick up there. Well, with a fence down, Shane Sweetnam decides it's not to be today for the Spyco Spies, and he opts to retire. Hands the win to the Roadrunners, hands the win to Kathleen Driscoll. What an absolutely amazing day Kathleen has had. She was the leading rider at Traverse City Horse Shows, and that consistency is why she was selected to join the Roadrunners squad, and what a fantastic choice she has been. This is her debut on this competition, her debut for the team, and she's won it for them. What an amazing, amazing result for her. 43.78 is the winning time, and so the Roadrunners take the top spot here at Greenwich at leg 6 of Major League Show Jumping. Team KPF capitalise on their success from leg 5 and take second place here today. The Trelawney Trailblazers, the current season leaders, finish in third, and the Spyco Spies clinch only their second top 4 finish of the season, finishing in 4th. Well, Kathleen Driscoll is going to make the most of this fantastic day. She's heading back into the ring to have a victory gallop here. She's been dressed in that lovely sash and rug. Flotilla has been an amazing partner for her here today. Amazing partner for her over the summer months. And they're having a good canter around, just taking a look around this arena that they have been the queens of in today's competition. Well, Kathleen just takes this victory gallop, just enjoying the moment, enjoying her success. She has been the best of the best here, joined by Caitlin Campbell and McLean Ward on the team to get them into the top 4. And Kathleen selected to represent them in the jump-off round. Absolutely pulling it out of the bag. What a way to kick things off. Daniel Coyle watching on there. He was on the Roadrunners squad, but I'm sure very much admiring the performance of this young lady to clinch the win for the Roadrunners. Well, Stephen Wild is standing by for us on the ground.
Absolutely, thank you very much. Yes, we're going to take a look at the winning round of Kathleen Driscoll and Flotilla. Superb performance by her. We've seen her all season. Those who've been following up in Traverse City, she's been bringing home win after win there, and beating the elements. A little bit damp still here, but hopefully clearing up for the weekend. And so let's take a look at that winning round from Kathleen Driscoll as she steps up for the very first time into the team for the Roadrunners. Roadrunners with their second win of the season, and that was Ottawa as well, just a few weeks ago out on the grass. So certainly a home on the turf for the team for the Roadrunners. And let's take a look at what was that winning round. Highly successful stuff from her, and Kathleen Driscoll brings it home in her first team appearance. Here we see them through the first new bit of ground for them. Terrific slice up to the second fence on course. From there, it is across the arena in fine style. Again, Team KPF fence leaving nothing away there as they get so tight to that one. Able to open up over the Oxer. Absolutely foot perfect to the vertical after that, and then turn back to the Cabana Coast fence, and they are very much in the groove at this point. Already seeing a good run from Natalie Dean at this stage at 44 seconds just over, but just making a little bit more to squeeze more out of it, chancing here at the Rolex fence, but there was no chance because she had got it all worked out absolutely perfectly, and a solid run to the last of the Major League fence to complete. So that was the winning round. That's what it looked like. For those watching on the stream, we look forward to seeing you at the next stage of the Major League team competition. Of course, you can join us for Greenwich over the weekend, which will feature, of course, the Rolex Grand Prix as well, and, of course, our fantastic supporters here for the big events over the next few days as well, with Team KPF, with Rolex, with Aston Martin and Fidelity. But for now, from here, it is a closing win. Congratulations to the team competition winners as part of Major League Show Jumping. It is Kathleen Driscoll who rides home for the Road Runners.
Well, what
overall,
a day
you can see
for
the
Road
championship
Runners.
points as well up on the table too. Trailblazers on a score of 89, extending their lead over the Road Runners.
What an amazing day then for the Road Runners. Fantastic performance from Kathleen Driscoll to clinch them the win, and now the Road Runners have leapfrogged Team Eye Candy and Team Helios to be in second place with 66 points. The Trailblazers still lead the way with 89 points. Team Helios now are in third, still in third with 60 points, but just 1 point behind them sit Team Eye Candy on 59. KPF climbed the rankings as well with 53, and then they're followed by the Spyco Spies, the Northern Lights and the Crusaders, who trail at the bottom of the tree. So, quite a shake-up in these standings, a big shake-up in fact for these teams. Team Eye Candy drop down, KPF go up, Road Runners go up considerably, and Team Helios retain that third place. They go ahead of Eye Candy, who of course were their biggest rivals last year. But the question is, will it be a win in this season for the Trailblazers? Join us again for leg 7 next time in this Major League Show Jumping team competition, where we'll be taking the series down to Mexico to Monterey. It's been an absolute pleasure to take you through this competition, and I hope that you will join us for the rest of the weekend's activity and also for leg 7 of Major League Show Jumping. Next stop will be in Monterey.
Middle part of the field, Team KPF going up into 5th place. Trailblazers continuing their lead on 89. Roadrunners now moving into second in the championship as well. Well done to them. And Team Helios into third place so far.